We are still in the middle of the now longest government shutdown ever. And a lot of people have been asking, well, where's the leader of the Senate, Mitch McConnell? And Mitch McConnell would be able to bring a bill to the floor. The House has already passed a bill to reopen the federal government. All it takes is for the Senate to take it up and then have the power to override a presidential veto. Now, again, that would take a large majority of the Senate, but from what I've been hearing about how bad Republicans do want to reopen the government, to avoid, of course, disastrous polling, it shows that Americans are, for the most part, against this shutdown and are blaming Republicans for it. Well, you have Mitch McConnell that has basically disappeared. Where is Mitch? In fact, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, on Twitter made the hashtag Where's Mitch after she literally tried chasing him around the Capitol building, trying to find the guy in order to get him to actually try to do something to reopen the government. Now, Mitch McConnell, it appears we have found him. Apparently, Senate Republicans have decided, instead of taking up a bill to reopen the government, to consider a bill to codify existing restrictions on abortions. Oh, great. Oh, so that's where he is. Now, this bill would codify the Hyde Amendment, which is a provision that passes annually and prohibits federal Medicaid dollars from covering abortion, except in cases of rape, incest, or life endangerment, among other things. Now, that bill is very, very unlikely to get the 60 votes it needs. So, wait a minute. Now, that's important. Remember that tidbit as we continue further into the explanation. Now, the vote, interestingly enough, comes ahead of this weekend's March for Life rally. Now, if you are not familiar with the March for Life, it's basically an annual anti-abortion event. So Mitch McConnell poked his head out of his shell just long enough to, again, first basically protect Israel, and, try to criminalize BDS, and then also to try to further restrict abortion. But nothing about the federal government shutdown. Oh, no. Now, what's interesting is, like I said, there are hundreds of thousands of furloughed federal workers, right, that have actually been called back into work. Now, originally there were people that were not working, but now are being called back into work and still not getting paid for it. That joins, of course, the hundreds of thousands of others that have been working the entire time and still haven't been getting paid for it. In fact, this is the first pay period of which we see that government workers have not actually gotten paid. So their checks, $0. How are they going to make rent? How are they going to pay their mortgage? How are they going to pay their car payments? You know that a lot of federal workers live paycheck to paycheck. So this first paycheck being missed is already devastating to them. And yet Mitch McConnell, what is he focusing on? Well, I got to focus on my pro-life bona fides. Right. Okay. Now, McConnell, by the way, has had a chance to put forward this legislation. In fact, the House basically passed 2 bills to try to fund the federal government. That did not include funding for the border wall. Now, McConnell blocked those bills as he said that he refused to bring any bill to the Senate floor that the president does not support, saying that the Senate will not, quote, participate in something that doesn't lead to an outcome. Now, that's very important context, because let's go back to this anti-abortion bill. The bill is unlikely to get 60 votes that it needs to move forward. I don't want to bring something to the floor that doesn't lead to an outcome. Wait a minute. Then I think you just broke your own goddamn rule. Look, what McConnell is doing is, of course, he's playing politics. He doesn't want to bring a bill to the floor because he knows that likely there would be enough support from both Republicans and Democrats to break a presidential veto. He doesn't want to do that because he doesn't want to embarrass Trump, because let's be honest, he's afraid of Trump's base. He's afraid of Trump coming after him. He's afraid of Trump's base because he doesn't want to get voted out of office. That's what this is. It is all political, and it's all bullshit. Now, that anti-abortion bill, by the way, goes a little bit further than just codifying the Hyde Amendment. Now, this is sponsored by Senator Roger Wicker, and the measure would prohibit abortion in federal health facilities like VA hospitals, and codifies a Washington, D.C. Hyde Amendment and bans subsidized ACA health plans from providing abortion coverage. Now, wait a minute. So that's an even further intrusion into people's lives. Now, you want to focus on that instead of actually helping people, government workers, and not only just government workers, by the way. A lot of people don't know that these some of these government contractors also contract out. And so you have local businesses that are also not getting money from the federal government that they rely on. So we're losing jobs, we're losing economic activity, economic growth. In fact, there will be a contraction of GDP thanks to this shutdown, and we're losing billions of dollars. Is it worth all that? Apparently, to Mitch McConnell, winning re-election is worth all that. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.